Okay. Hello, everybody. Oh, God. Now my camera's blurry. Why? Why? Why didn't you finish your essay, SpongeBob? Hello, everyone. I'm so late. I'm so late. I'm sorry. It's been a day. Oh, my God. Okay, so if I look rough, and it seems like I got off to a rough start, and if it also seems like my background is slightly different in the most subtlest of ways. I'm gonna fix my camera while I'm talking about this shit. Um, the reason why that may be is because I partially moved today. Um, so I had my dad came to come help move some of my large furniture items out of my current living situation, um, and move it to the house. So yeah. So I woke up early and I'm a little tired, but I was like, I gotta save my computer for last because I have to stream. I said I was gonna stream, but I have been driving back and forth, and where I'm at now versus where I'm going is a decent distance away. So it took me a while. Also, I was like, I moved stuff and some of it was heavy, so I'm gonna treat myself. and so I was like, I'm gonna get some wine because it's Friday and I didn't have to work today and it was a good day and I moved and I was productive. I packed all of my cups, all of my wine glasses. And I feel like if I just drank wine straight out of the bottle on camera, the almighty Twitch lords may smite me. I think they'd probably hit me with a encouraging bad behavior or something. So I have wine and I'm drinking it out of a coffee cup that says brew on it. This is the only cup I had left in my apartment. It's embarrassing to say the least, but it's true. It's even further embarrassing. This was used this morning. I had to wash it before I poured my wine in here, but there is wine in here. Not too much, obviously, but this is what I'm drinking out of. So cheers, my dears, with my fucking wine coffee mug. I apologize for the delay. Um, I was trying to rearrange stuff, and of course, my fucking computer was like, I don't feel like it. And I was like, you better feel like it, because we gotta go, okay? I'm not wearing my watch. My watch is still over on the sink. No matter. Yeah. So my lamp is further over, which means that my backdrop doesn't extend, so I had to like angle differently. And so if you catch me leaning forward, I'm probably gonna fail all my posture checks today. Because if I sit up straight, I'm like far back. That's not so bad, but whatever. I have more room for hand gestures. I do love the hand gestures. My Italian heritage is coming through with my hand gestures. Um, yeah, there's no furniture behind me. Like, none. The only furniture that is left in this place is all of my desk stuff, my bed, and like a couple side tables. Like, that's it. Everything else came with the apartment. This room behind me is empty. So we did a lot of good work, and I still have like a decent amount of time before I absolutely have to be out of this place. So sorry. Anyway, that was all this to say. I moved a good chunk today, and so that is why the stream was late. That is why I am a mess. But it's gonna be good, and we're gonna play some Ace Attorney, and I'm gonna attempt to remember the accents I was doing. We're gonna just bear with me. Before I do any of that, though, let's get those content, and I realize I don't have stream avatars on today. Sorry, y'all, no stream avatars today. Those are the content warnings. I'm about to show them on screen as well for Great Ace Attorney. There we go. blood and gore, visual and audio, gun violence, animal death, death and suicide, murder mystery game, per the usual. Alcohol and substance abuse. There is a prosecutor that drinks a lot of wine. I will be drinking an alcoholic beverage if any of that is triggering to you. I totally understand if you need to step out. Domestic violence, self-harm, snakes, anxiety attacks, hospitals, bone breaking, hanging, suffocation, burial alive. Those aren't fun. Oh no. Anti-Semitism and xenophobia. That one actually shows up quite a bit in this game, which is tragic, but it is what it is. Fat jokes, flashing lights, shaky cam, sort of, kind of, and claustrophobic scenes. So yeah, those are your triggering content warnings. And if at any point somebody jumps in, or if you need a reminder or whatever, and you want some specificity, that is a word that I know how to say, you can hit the exclamation point warning, and that will link you to doesthedogdie.com, where all of the trigger and content warnings are listed. Coolio. So, we're going to play some Ace Attorney. I just turned my camera back on, and look, there's words on my face. Oop. I need to make some buttons. That's what I... See, this is a button. I'm thinking. I have my new Stream Deck, my new fancy Stream Deck. I should put a button that I can switch to. Anyway, none of that. Alrighty. Yes. Y'all let me know how loud or quiet the game is compared to everything else. Hopefully it won't be... Hopefully it's good. Alright, we're still in episode 4, The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. And we are in trial part 2. So I think, if I remember correctly, we're trying to defend the Japanese man that is getting absolutely raked over the coals by these assholes in England. Something about a book. And we were talking to the little young couple. So, Miss Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned, I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please.
Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to.
Oh god. It's starting to, like, dawn on me that I have to do these voices again, and I'm scared. What happened? I have to reacquaint myself with history. Okay, so... something about the bouquet.
I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
Okay, so wait, she went to call...
Hold it!
I'm just gonna press. You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime?
Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset.
I know that they're supposed to be a couple, but they really do look related. Like, they look related. It's kind of weird.
When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back, I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rowley gave me. It was in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice it at first.
And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on.
Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all.
That's sus. Oh, shit. I forgot how to... I don't know how to do a German accent on a good day, and I'm already losing it. I'm like trying to figure out how to say these words. In case you need reminding, Miss Beat, the victim is not deceased. That was bad. That was bad. That was just really bad. I'll get it. Just give me some time.
I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road.
Your husband, presumably.
That's right, silly me. I got over to the wrong side of the street. Although, I couldn't blame the bouquet this time. I can't think of how it got there. I really can't.
So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite. That is sus.
Curious indeed. Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. The beautiful rose Rolly bought me with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting.
He couldn't just afford it? That's sad. By bouquet. Shit. Why is the voice like that? This is my calibration phrase, and it's not working. It's not working at all. Do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose? That's more British. God damn it. It's just... just let it be. Just let it be. I can't do a German accent.
Oh, yes, that's it. That's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary with all bits of change he found in the gutter.
Maybe just call it a rose. Yeah, it's not a bouquet unless there's multiple flowers.
Tell us, Lord Van Zeeks, where did you come by the flower?
According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garadeb household. In front of the Garadeb's house. Also, it was noticed into the morning as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Can I have a mug now, please? No, I think for good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence. Oh.
The anniversary bouquet. So she dropped it where she stood. She stood in the place where it casts no light, but then I gotta wrap my mind back around this case because it's been a minute.
But it's a symbol of our love.
I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back.
Good grief. Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget this beat.
I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir.
Hold it!
Nothing to report.
That's correct, sir.
I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honor, sir. Really? That seems a little strange.
Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me.
This burnt copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Garadeb household, so the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Uh-oh. You've fallen asleep.
Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burnt as well?
Yes, totally happens to be burnt. Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Cinema Hawk, thank you for the Prime resub. You've been subscribed for 14 months. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're a real one. Well, so 14
Cinema
months in a row.
Hawk just resubscribed for 14 months.
Yay! Love it. Thank you. Well, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you make of all this?
Yes. The whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along. But I believe I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened here now. The fourth book that had no business being at the scene of the crime made me sure that Miss Garadeb was hiding something from us. But it's becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may already be armed with everything I need to strike a decisive blow here. Cool. But where? This time it's going to expose the whole truth about this mysterious affair. Cool. Yeah, I bet it will once I figure out what it is. This case has nothing to do with mysterious. Okay. Windows were the top hinged casements. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. I'm gonna look. And lost her way. Oh no. Oh dear. Okay. I'm gonna look at the evidence. What do we have? I have an armband. I have the local map. I have a secondhand book receipt. I have... I'm gonna examine this. Let's tie it off with something. It's very stylish paper the flower's wrapped in, isn't it?
It's just an old newspaper, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me.
Ah, I see.
Is something wrong?
Oh, no. I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake.
Ah, Susato-san, you do love your cakes. Aw, that's sweet. Literally, sweet.
An English rose. It's such a beautiful flower.
Ah, this is a rose, isn't it? I've never seen one before. Really?
Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruhodo?
I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least.
Gosh, 3?
Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. They are pretty.
Perhaps you should consider branching out?
Branching out? Branching out? Right?
Learning some that aren't fruit tree based, for example?
Is there anything on the newspaper that... Nope. I kind of... Is that really it? I thought there was something with the tie. I guess not. Okay. Warrant card. This tells the rules. Strive to preserve the... It's 20 miles around a street for kids. Okay. The 4th book. The Lion's Pride. And it's burnt to a crisp. I keep looking at this book, and every time I can't believe how badly burnt it is.
And I can't believe what a terrible waste it is. The more I look at the damage, the more I'm sure it must have happened very recently, too.
A book damaged by fire very recently. Why does that seem significant somehow? Okay, well, we've already kind of established that.
Let me see. It's a book entitled The Lion's Pride.
I'm afraid I don't know any English literature at all, so it wouldn't be something I've heard. Wait a minute. The Lion's... Okay, yeah, we already established this. Specifically shows the victim's hand. Large knife can be seen. The tip. The tip is broken off. That's gonna become significant soon. Young woman rendered unconscious following a stab into the back. Olive green female. Reporting officer was Raleigh Beat. Damn it. Nope. I'm actually at a loss because... Sorry, one of my alerts is going off. Dropped bouquet and then losing away for a while. Didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment. Supposedly this is like the significant one. A client at work, stress balls that are chickens? Wait, like those little rubber chickens? Do they make noise? or are they just squeezable? That was really nice of them though. Weird, but nice. Yeah, post a pic in the Discord. I want to see those. They are chicken. Okay, that makes sense. That's like on brand, literally on brand. What am I supposed to? I'm a little scared to present something. Didn't take the eye off the crime scene for nothing strange to report, but then the book made it to the other side, right?
Objection!
Okay. I just guessed. I don't know. It was right. It was correct. I don't really know why. I'm gonna be real. But I guess they're gonna tell us, so maybe it'll be okay. You claim, Constable Beat, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be.
What do you mean to say?
In your testimony just now, Miss Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side of Flower Road, where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be so described, no doubt it was blown with the wind across the street, back in the gutter where it belongs. Rude.
Meager?
Objection!
Gosh, there's something in my eye. It's probably some freaking glitter or something, because I tried to put glitter on my eyeball because I wanted it to be pretty. Pain is beauty, I suppose. But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to that fact?
No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure.
No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way round. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garrideb's book. Somebody's rearranging the crime scene. Mr. Garrideb's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the... I can read, I swear. Would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Miss Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house. Something's not... The math ain't mathin', okay? There's no logical explanation for those things. Unless somebody deliberately moved them. Yeah! Point at him.
What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rolly's done something wrong. Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. Wittering on about books and bouquets. Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is.
Oh good, Miss Garadeb's come round. Adjust. You might call it nitpicking, Miss Garadeb. But deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called,
Tampering, Mr. Naruhodo.
But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it, for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering. You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? I'm so... Object these nuts! Nice. Yeah, super rude. Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of... Oh my gosh, there's someone... I can read. I believe in myself. Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person.
Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture.
Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime? I say it's little Roly beat.
Take that!
Music stopped, which means it's correct. Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Roly beat, it was you.
What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? What nonsense! Why would my Rowdy do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband.
There was no one straighter than my husband.
No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London.
Miss Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it.
You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers?
I swear so. Stop it. Yes, Patricia, you're gonna kill the man.
I bet it was him. He did it.
Objection!
If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it.
Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Miss Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well.
Objection!
First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife. Now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. I have no idea what voice I'm doing for that man. It is just all over the place. You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there's only one reason why anyone would commit such a reckless crime, to hide something.
That's right, he's right. My husband and I just happened to be there, so why would he have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense.
You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering, and until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Well, I'm about to evidence it up in here. Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair.
Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery? Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. Deep breath, let's go. Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the victim fell. Where the victim fell. Where the victim fell. That's what I'm going with. Please be correct. Where the victim fell to the ground. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we?
This is incorrect, isn't it?
On the pavement of Briar Road, we saw it happen, remember? It was anyone didn't already know.
Did he move the body so it would... Did he move the body so it wouldn't be in his jurisdiction? So he didn't have to deal with it? Or did he move it to his jurisdiction so that he could be a hero and be the one to deal with it? I'm getting a little hero syndrome in here, but I don't know if it's right. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all.
What?
So I guess this was correct.
I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel.
Is that your assertion? Then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? Over here. Right?
Take that!
Right? But that's... on the opposite side of the road.
I don't understand.
On the evening in question, Mr. Garadeb's book fell directly down from the open window above, and your bouquet, Miss B, never moved at all. What did move? Wow, that spin. That was one dramatic spin. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Good gracious!
Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimonies the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment of the attack took place.
That's right, I saw it with my own eyes.
It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road.
No, that's not true. It can't have been.
Constable B then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road. Extraordinary. But the constable overlooked one thing.
What did he overlook?
Oh, come on, girlie. You can figure it out. You got this. It's a bouquet, I presume. Exactly.
The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeke said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously. Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. Okay, so he moved the crime scene. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Rolly Beat. Oh, he looks a little guilty. Probably because he is guilty. Oh, he fell asleep. He didn't hear anything, huh? Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important?
Oh, Rolly, it isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
Oh, no. I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things that I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. Oh my god, did he kill her? Oh. Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly! The truth come out. Order! What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Oh, Rolly, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offence, isn't it?
Yeah, dude. You're gonna get arrested. Wishing the victim dead should be one, too. Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town. I can't say, sir. What? I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation. For everything. Oh. Cool backstory, still a criminal offense. I have a possible explanation for why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason. What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yet, Lord Van Zeeks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of this matter, thus far. Yeah, so shut your weird xenophobic mouth. You creep. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan, it makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. Ah. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. What gives away the motive for Constable Beat's unthinkable actions? The warrant card.
Take that!
Yep. He had his rules. It's when that lawful good finally cracks. Just the rules were too much. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land and I have only just arrived from Japan, which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world. For example, I read that wrong. Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? How? Dude, we just went over that it was their anniversary. On account of this bouquet, my lord.
Oh yes, it was our very first wedding anniversary.
Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal. Then he and Miss Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. I'm gonna say Ryunosuke is talking. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of them, what must have gone through the man's mind?
But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Miss Beat puts up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care.
It's really cute though. I feel a little bad. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with the initial investigations and help detectives. Aha! Constable Beat. Is that, or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? So he moved it so he wouldn't have to deal with it. Yes.
Everything you said is all right.
So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat.
Oh, oh no, Ronnie.
Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat. Good gracious! Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you've done?
It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever coast guard.
Oh! Oh!
Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal should still be lurking around somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible.
But then it dawned on me. I realised where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this happen? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? Why? He just wanted to celebrate his anniversary. It's the copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then when I opened my mouth to speak. It just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you'll have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along Meerschaum Street and then... He lied. Oh, look at Susato. She's feeling it too. Oh. He just wanted to celebrate his anniversary. Oh, he's crying. Oh, look at him. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, no. I'm going to start crying. Oh, my God. Look at him. Look at... Oh, Constable. I just wanted... Just that one night to take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, really? Just that one night. Oh, my God. I'm gonna start crying. You knew that if the incident was on your beach, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. You see, I thought, well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see. I beg your pardon.
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Rory would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
Ah, I see your meaning now. My God got me back from my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat.
Oh no, Rory, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly.
This is like really painful and really bad. And can you tell us, Constable? How many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total? Oh, 4 it was. Yes, sir, definitely 4.
3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garadeb household, of course.
But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Haphazardly. I know it's haphazardly, but I like saying it haphazardly. Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. What, did it hit her on the head and then she just was grabbing it? How you found it, what do you mean? When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. You're sure that it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Interesting. The 4th book... Okay, it's been updated. Yay. Sweet. Sweet. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However, which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. already. My lord.
Yes, Lord Van Zieks.
I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Back to business, I guess. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir!
Mr. Prosecutor, sir, what will become of my body? What will happen to him?
Oh my god, please don't. Oh my god, don't do it, please. Oh, well, okay, I guess you can't get away with it, but for now you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late.
Aww. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired.
All right then, my love.
At least he's gonna get his rest, I suppose, but still. One last thing, Constable. So, let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Yeah, don't do that. Please don't do that again. Ever. Never again, sir. You mean to say? Leave now. This trial is not yet over. Oh my god, but he's gonna try to make it so he can still be... Alright. Alright, you might be okay. Maybe. You're still on thin fucking ice though, Van Zieks. Sup! Still on thin fucking ice. He's still very xenophobic. But that was a nice thing to do.
Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that?
Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some unusual facts here. Principally, that's still British, and I'm still fucking this German accent up. That the accused, Mr. Seki Natsume, is the only person who could have possibly committed this crime.
Objection!
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back.
Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
Lord Van Zieks, is this true? Very well. Names the person, if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. Okay, good. You will name the other person. Oh, hello, Gabe. How are you? The other person. Oh, hydrate. I don't have any water. Thank you
Your
for the
posture is
check.
regrettable. Concentrate on sitting straight.
I should concentrate on sitting straight. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'll have to redeem the hydrate later. But everybody else, hydrate. Hydrate it up. Water is important. Who could be, her?
Take that!
The music stopped, so that's correct. The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord. Once again? My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case. Doing well, but not so great. I'm sorry. Well, hopefully you can just kind of unwind and chill. Thank you for stopping by. We're gonna solve some cases, so you just sit back and listen to me do some dumb voices. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, It's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Miss Joan Garadeb.
Me? Oh, Jeremy.
Objection!
That request has already been denied.
Objection!
But the situation is very different now. Aw, thank you, Gabe. I appreciate it. I feel like I look rough, so thank you for the compliment. Miss Garadeb, answer me this.
What do you want now, you little toad?
At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garadeb. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over Briar Road.
Well, what of it?
You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident.
Yes, and as I said, what of it?
During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Miss Garadeb. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before?
I don't recall it.
Seriously? Smoother than melted butter. Thank you. Smoother than melted butter.
Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, the man over there and all that regalia said members of the jury need testified, didn't he?
Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
No, I have no recollection of saying that at all. Juror number 4.
Oh!
Make no mistake, you jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to let me try that one more time. You are not immune to the judicial process. I'm waiting for him to just like flip. Aw, that's so sweet, Gabe. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out.
But that's just a common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know?
What's that? Oh fuck, I forgot what voice I gave. Oh, you joking? I think I gave him like a harsher Cockney accent, but I feel like I've been doing Cockney a lot, but whatever. What are you saying, please, Miss Garadeb?
Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it.
Oh, the poor woman.
So yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I knew. Oh my God! That I threw the knife. That I threw that knife. If that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop. Do your worst.
Well,
Mr. Naruhodo?
If I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already. Zentek to stand, Jura.
Oh.
The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Van Zeeks.
I'm going to have to testify.
Juror number 4. As I'm sure you'll appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today. Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware.
Oh, dear me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony,
Miss Garadeb. I am tripping over these lines.
And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels?
Certainly, my lord. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm hoping for, my lord. Oh, boy. Very dramatic. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. Oh, wow. I'm here, in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. Yeah, you are! She's got her little teapot. Witness Stitch, your name and occupation.
Oh, yes, my name is John Garadeb. And I'm, well, I'm a juror and such like.
Sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore.
The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify the matters in this case. Do you understand, madame? Yes, my lord.
You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
Oh, did it be?
I guess this is her husband, and I actually cannot for the life of me remember his voice, so I'm just gonna...
Chin up, Jody. Nothing to worry about now.
Aw, look!
Oh, I didn't know you were here, John.
Look at... They're just... There's some actually really cute couples in this case. Like... Just... It's just standing beside each other and just... Oh, I love it. Anyway.
Wasn't only you in that room that day, old thing, was it? Rather than think I ought to testify as well, don't you? But what about your knee, dear? Don't worry about that. Hard to notice it. Not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. Oh, John. I presume you are a Mr. John Garadeb. Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers. So, seen my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were.
It's a quiet life. Although you're not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question.
Ah, well, yes.
Nah, that's getting country, but whatever. Quite.
I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once.
Cool. We've got the sun and the moon.
Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the cart. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Until night around our place. Can't say I've noticed if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. And if that bonny thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, you'll have a job proving it, I think.
Probably. Yeah.
It sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening.
Also an entirely one-sided assault, it seems.
The enemy caught us on top of the...
I'm gonna get this. I just realized I was doing the country accent again, and I need to stop.
The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield you're just a next whisker from death at any moment.
Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here?
Well, I must say, I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife. In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are better noticed.
Would he know that? But would he know that? I mean, I guess he does have like a very... I guess it's very... His outfit is very militaristic. Has Van Zeke seen battle? Does he have a confirmed kill count? Does this man have a confirmed kill count? I feel like this is information I need to know. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more since they have testified already. This may be a dead end. Van Zeeks may well be right.
Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination.
The Battle of Gyarados. Alright, let's press. Let's press these witnesses.
Hold it!
The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe.
Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Gyarados.
A rather passionate note, in fact. But Miss Gyarados found the note, discovering her husband's little secret.
And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too.
What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. I guess he doesn't. I guess Van Zeeks is not a fan of marriage.
I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things as common decency not to drag it all up. And besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway. A likely study.
These waters run very deep.
And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face?
Hold it!
And the fire also spread to some items of furniture. You know, it just occurred to me that Mr. Gyarados kind of reminds me just a little bit of my dad. Just like a little bit. Like, I feel like once my dad gets a little bit older, he's gonna, like, start acting like this a little bit. I don't know, I just had, like, a flash of, a vision or something. I was like, that could be my dad. And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it?
Case, my armchair, anything of mine, really. Just so happens there was some bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out. A most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a three-story townhouse on the west side of the street where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw water from the public water pump during the day if you need any, you see.
Oh, that sucks.
The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although that little mustached Japanese man buys waters in bottles, I believe.
The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off.
He's living on a student's. Have you actually seen the state of the man? Yeah, we walked into his home and we were like, yo, you live like this? He's basically a college student. Like, come on.
I believe he uses all of his income to buy books.
Well, anyway, the point is I was able to douse the fire with water, unfortunately enough.
Hold it!
Even though the room was on fire.
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
That is most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruhodo.
How did she know I was thinking that? So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day?
In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge.
By Jupiter.
A napkin. By Jupiter, he says.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Do you have something to say? Do you have something to add, sir? I mean, I feel like he would remember having a knife thrown at his head. Mr. Garadeb.
Don't shoot! Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind?
Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker, I seem to recall.
The fire poker? God damn. She had murder on the mind. Ouch.
And the woman's name is uncanny.
Why is that?
Good grief, woman, we're not at home now. This is a court of law.
Oh, dearie me, ever so sorry, dear.
What's she even doing with a teapot in here? You're only just now realizing this?
Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously.
Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened,
Your pipe, sir.
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did, yes. And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage.
I see, your pipe was broken. I feel like that's a metaphor.
I would never have... It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now.
You are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear?
I wonder what she would make of... I wonder what we should make of this account. It could be important, I think. I think it could be important. The defense believes Mr. Garadeb's remarks just now to be of great significance.
Objection!
This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife and pipes as well as hearts may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony.
Indeed, common sense, one might say.
Might one?
In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Well, I don't see why not.
Oh, dearie me, there you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady.
She's jealous.
Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence.
Cool. Give me that pipe. Apparently it fell to the floor during a domestic dispute.
I hope I didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Susada-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully, and I plan on doing that right now. Okay. So we see where it patched up. It looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? Also, how is that still working? I feel like there would air... Well, I guess if it's really good tape, the air wouldn't escape. But I'd be a little worried of it catching on fire. But for some reason, it feels slightly ominous to me, like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same blue as Mr. Garadeb's dressing gown.
I suppose it must have considerable sentiment.
You know, sometimes I can speak properly. Sometimes.
I suppose it must have considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garadeb, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this.
Either that, or he can't afford to replace it. There's also a chip. There's a small nick out of the bowl here. Look, it appears to have been made relatively recently.
And see how there are little scrapes and dents all over it? It's clearly a well-loved pipe.
Yes, you're right. It seems to me recently that being well-loved goes hand in hand with getting some battle scars. This particular nick is catching my eye, though, because it's clearly new. What is? What is? Also, sir, I don't think you should be smoking that. Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there.
Yes, I saw it. Something stuck in there, I think.
Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this?
It's a tiny fragment of metal.
It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
Got him! We got him!
The tip of a blade. Surely it couldn't be.
We got him! We got it!
Well, thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Garadeb. Now, if we could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim?
Hold it!
Let's ask them about the knives. Sorry, would you care to elaborate?
Nothing to say, really. Rather partial to a spot of carving, you see. Pipes and whatnot, fishing tackle, you know, that sort of thing.
It's a passion we both share. I'd like to carve little wooden trinkets too, and then there's my leather work.
Well, damn, girly. Leatherwork. Leatherwork. I'm just kidding. Well, am I? Yeah, I'm kidding.
Sorry to say, we're always losing knives about the place, and we have dozens of things.
They sell them at the market sometimes, 20 for the price of 19. Needless to say, I stack them up. John prefers to use 2 knives at mealtimes too, instead of knife and fork.
He just stabs his food, just like violently stabs his food.
Now, Joan, we don't want people thinking I'm on some kind of savage. Ah!
Here we go again with the scaldings. Why are they being so evasive?
I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. They can't bear the thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim.
Which is entirely understandable, of course, but still. Go on with your testimony, witnesses.
Sir!
Alright.
Hold it!
I think I can prove it, though. So you have no intention of admitting it was your knife, unless we can produce proof. Oh, he's getting nervy. Even though there is no other credible possibility if Mr. Natsume is innocent.
Objection!
You forget, my Nipponese friend, that it is yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack. As if I could forget. If only there was some way to know who had handled the knife. But I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream. I forgot. We're like back in the day, so they don't have fingerprint analysis yet.
Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting, Mr. Naruhodo.
What? You mean it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists? Well, I guess they did have like sort of fingerprinting, but like true scientific analysis. They certainly didn't have DNA, and they're not gonna have DNA for a while.
Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin, or so they say.
But I can't see anything. There are already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice.
Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation. But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. That this knife found in the victim's back was originally in Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house.
If only I could translate this whole incident to several years in the future. That's the extent of their testimony, is it?
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I think we've heard all of this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony.
But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident.
Yes, I know.
I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was in fact a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury.
If we could find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, like the tip of a knife maybe, it would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything.
Yes, it would.
So for Soseki-san's sake, we must. We must find that last crucial piece of evidence. And we got it. So, let's go to the... I'm gonna present the knife tip.
Objection!
Mr. Garadeb, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
Well, you can ask, but I can't see a bloody thing.
You can't?
You used to call me Dead-Eyed Deb back in the regiment, of course, but that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
Oh, he does, didn't he? It's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word.
Get the poor man some glasses, my damn God. You must be very dizzy. Okay, let's not make fun of his struggle. What is that? A tiny scrap of metal. Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got there.
And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel?
Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road?
Here we go. Prepare thyself. I am.
What?
When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. I just realized the back of his robe is like messy or something.
You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case?
Take that!
A jackknife. This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue was the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones. That is really dark.
And what of this particular knife?
No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection!
No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
Oh, good grief, Lord Van Zeeks!
I don't believe it.
The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match.
Good golly gosh!
See, look, he's got like his underwear sticking out the back of his robe.
Order! Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery?
That is racist. And I just hit my mic and I'm sorry, y'all. Why did they need to say that?
This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle.
A miracle? So Van Zeeks has figured it out, has he?
Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once.
Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe?
Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of our soft projectiles, she did, yes. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid.
Oh, they're so nervous.
Oh, dearie me.
During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Miss Garadeb flung this knife at her husband. However, The knife missed Mr. Garadub, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time, which caused the tip to break off, of course. Good lord! Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garadub's pipe.
The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1.
And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window to the Garadub's house, or out of the Garadub's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below.
Oh gosh, oh dear, oh no!
See, oh, she's standing on a box because she's so short. He's got his wine out. Take a sip. A full-bodied theory, I'll give you that. Theory? Are you for real? Is this man for real? A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. He's very much a fan of wine. Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. A game! No, I'm just kidding. The bottle, I fear, is corked. Because you see... The leg sends me every single time. It's so extra. It's so extra. It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. An insurmountable what?
Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified?
An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her...
That's right, you silly man. You silly little man.
Now, Joan old thing, what are you getting so excited about?
Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed at the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, there's no possible way it could have planted itself in the victim's back. Well, I still think it's possible if she, like, bent down or something.
Order! Order!
Quite right, you see. That's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head.
Well,
He's lost for words, look.
Oh gosh. I knew it. I never liked his theory in the... Oh, I forgot Jonas.
I don't really know. What would have did happen?
The jury is murmuring.
It would appear the defense has made a rather spectacular blunder.
If a theory has even one inconsistency it cannot stand, your theory, my learned friend, is history. No! It's not! We still got this! Come on, Ryunosuke, get up! Get back up! Come on, Spider-Man, get up! We were so close. I could see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track. But now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words... Oh, sorry.
We simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency, and the theory will stand.
Mr. Sato.
You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all, and your mind went blank. But if the path you were on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself.
Where there's a wheel, there's a driver.
The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there.
That was a clue. The information. Do it for the Mets, Spider-Man! Do it for the Mets, Spider-Man! It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed.
Objection!
Objection. That is not a very good objection stance, my boy. This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is.
What are you implying?
Counsel? There is a piece of evidence in the court record that could explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer.
Oh, goodness.
Utter madness.
Surely this must be the last time.
Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak. Okay. My thing is, maybe the book fell first, and she bent down to grab the book, which is how it ended up in her hand, and then the knife stabbed her in the back, which is like still pretty wild to think about, how like a knife falling from a building can stab you. Especially since that would probably mean that the blade fell first, and usually the blade is the lighter part. You'd think that the handle would fall first. So it's still pretty weird, but suspending my disbelief just a little bit because this is a video game and it's an absurd one at that. I think it's because she saw the book reach down and that's how it ended up in her back. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back, it's either the book. Well, hold on. I'm gonna look at the case file. No other signs of injury were okay, that doesn't really tell us anything. So I think I have two chances. I'm gonna go with the book, and if it's not the book, then it's probably, well, actually, if it's not the book, I kind of don't know. I'm gonna go with the book.
Take that!
Yes, the music stopped! This, the fourth book found at the scene. I was right! This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. The burnt book.
Is that not Mr. Geradeb's book?
Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all know now, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that.
Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road.
That's true, however, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place the book in the victim's hand?
Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
It was still in her hand because she grabbed it. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound.
Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything.
So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
By Jingo! Oh, I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now.
Oh, dearie me.
We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garadeb household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her.
The book I threw.
Yes, Miss Garadeb, and what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement?
Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up.
Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh heavens!
And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, What position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, which is just like really a crazy coincidence, but the next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Well, I never.
It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor, in the dark and the fog. He didn't see the knife falling on her from above.
Ah!
And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker.
So there never really was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place.
No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. Otherwise known as a series of unfortunate events. And that is the real truth behind this case. Got him. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garadev? Come on, give me that Ace Attorney freak out. Give me that Ace Attorney freak out. Come on.
The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that.
There's our old read.
Poor Miss Garrett.
Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well.
Don't throw knives. I mean, don't throw knives. Unless you're like a professional circus knife thrower. Don't throw knives.
John dear.
It's all right, I know.
I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry!
Oh no! Someone catch her! Oh, she fell off the box! Oh, he caught her. Oh, but his knee. Oh. Oh. Oh, damn. He really going for it, though. His pants are ripped, though. Wow, just gonna exclude ninjas like that. Okay, fine. Okay, don't throw knives unless you're a professional circus performer or you're a ninja. How could I forget ninjas? That was on me. That's on me. You're right.
Lord Van Zeeks, what news of Miss Gardeb?
She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events have left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There was no cause for concern.
Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could have easily been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions.
There is some good news, however, my lord. I have just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon.
It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her.
How wonderful! The woman is out of danger, it seems.
Yes, that is good news. So, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Oh god, what voice did I give him? I gave him like a really tweaked out voice, I think.
Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. No, it is me who should be begging your pardon.
Oh no, Mr. Natsume. Yeah, great British culture.
That evening when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion.
What conclusion, sir?
I was sure that the woman was dead.
Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too.
I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless.
It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the bog, like they're haunting me.
Poor Soseki-san, his imagination really has got the better of him.
Yes, poor man.
So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I am truly sorry.
I don't know. I feel like they did a lot more of that work than you did, sir. If I came upon somebody who was stabbed, I probably would have... No one knows how they're going to react when you panic, you know? I feel like they did most of the shitty... Also, they're like constantly... whatever. There was lots of xenophobia in this one. One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. They really are just not going to say series of unfortunate events, huh? They are really just tiptoeing around that. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken, and the spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both. Oh. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes, my lord.
In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court?
As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare that truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure.
Sitting in for the old beanwash is out of action, you know, but I know what her decision will be. Does this mean I'll finally be able to get out here and start work? Well, it's about time.
I see. I'll have a cooker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I?
Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman?
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Yay! Not guilty! We won! Very well, Mr. Soseki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you not guilty! Confetti? Yay! Confetti! And fireworks, apparently! In the middle of a building! That's safe. And finally, Mr. Natsume.
Oh yes, my lord, sir.
You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me.
Oh yes, sir, of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. Yay, we did it! The Old Bailey.
Oh, locum.
Wait, you mean me?
Of course. Is there another locum here?
Why is everybody... Is there even one?
Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it?
What's wrong with using my actual name?
Oh, at last, I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah!
Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted.
Would it be so hard to just say that then?
Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink!
Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now.
No, 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 not that! Lovely, loyal, locum lawyer!
Yes?
I mean, as I said before, I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners, I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback.
Oh dear, I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume.
But today, you local lawyer gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold, the best barrister ever born!"
Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you.
This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan.
An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? I'm assuming that this is Holmes or Sholmes.
There you are, my dear fellows.
I was right! It was Sholmes!
I apologize for keeping you waiting. I was late this morning.
Oh, Mr. Scholes, what a pleasure to see you.
I see I'm here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say.
Oh,
The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck.
You missed it. You're late. It's just finished.
What? No! Then my haste was in vain! Ah! It's you!
Hairlock Sholmes!
Oh, have we met, sir?
this is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Scholes.
Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming.
This is all your fault, Hairlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind.
My apologies, sir, but I assure you I have placed you now.
Just so dumb. I love him so much.
You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Had she been taken to hospital more urgently, I fear perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now.
Oh,
But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience.
Savage.
I do feel very badly about how I behaved.
Well, never mind. Now then, what was it that you wanted to say to me, sir?
Nothing.
Priceless. Oh, I am sorry, really. But that was quite priceless.
Poor Soseki-san.
Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem you are not even found guilty.
But there is no bright side.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume?
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper.
Ah, Lord Van Zeeks.
I haven't forgotten, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed.
Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. Hi-ya!
Oh, why did she do that?
With a perfectly executed Susato takedown.
Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of a warning might be nice next time, Mrs. Sato. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan. Are you gonna go home?
Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon.
Oh,
It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I've visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
that's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
Or perhaps, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world, escape the terror of the Reaper's curse.
That's not it at all! The more I learn of the literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own.
Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be an interesting read. Cool. And what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, what about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot? Why would we?
A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet.
And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us.
I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings.
Oh, the windowless room? Hey, beggars can't be choosers, Ryunosuke.
But what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with the floor, a ceiling, and walls.
Wow, what a deal. What a deal. Great.
And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit?
Oh yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call.
Dude, you can take your sleep paralysis demons with you. Please. Please. We'll think about it if that's alright. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Really?
Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add. Are you sure it isn't just storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of.
Oh, this is simply wonderful! What an honor to be invited to take lodgings in the great detective's office's attic! I'm too overcome for words.
So suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. Look at her, she's about to cry. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume, I insist.
I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes!
Wonderful! Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long.
Somebody's happy. Yay!
Welcome. I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London.
Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon.
Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again one day.
Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author.
Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Mr. Shorts. I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. Yay, we're gonna go live with Mr. Sholmes. And so, with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. Yay! And we finished this case. Oh. Okay, 20th of February, 4:41 p.m. It's got a nice little stove and attic room. It's a pretty decent little place. So this
Is to be our new office, yes.
our office? I rather like the sound of that.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it?
I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step. Oh, but I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? Oh! Oh my god, he took his hat! His hair is so floofy! Swag! Look at this man with his swagger! Okay, I see you, Sholmes! Ah, Mr. Sholmes, yes, thank you so much.
It's a delightful room, Mr. Schultz. I simply adore it.
Look at this man! Okay. Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. Oh, I love her so much.
I hope everyone's hungry.
What voice did I give her?
It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. All right then, Susie. You can be in charge of the line salad.
The line set. What did I just say? Oh my gosh. Words.
Splendid.
His hair is so floofy. Why did I not expect his hair to be this floofy? So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at this premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights casts the darkest of shadows. He looks so intense, oh my god! Shadows, what do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London. The greatest goodbye to an apartment of all time. Yeah, it is. Fuck this apartment. Of course, at the time, I had no idea the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. End. Alright, that's the end of this chapter. Oh my gosh, guys. Awarded. Landed in London. Finally. Yes, please save my current progress. I'm just gonna save over the first one. Yeah, I'm just gonna overwrite it. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick little break and then we're gonna start this case. I don't know how much longer I can go because I am starting to get a little tired, but I wanna start the next case. I don't wanna leave it just yet, but I will be right back just to hydrate and whatnot, so. All right, we're back. Well, I'm back. We're all back. And Minda, you're coming to come here. Are you finally making your appearance? Look, guys, she's come to say hello. Is my sweet baby. She was not happy today. All the moving and stuff. She walked out. She walked out of the bedroom and saw we were like completely taking all the stuff out of the living room, and she just noped right back to the bedroom, didn't you? You said no. You're like, you're changing my kingdom around. Who gave you permission to change my kingdom? It's of course, every stream is a Minda stream, isn't it, baby? Mwah. Look at this sleepy little baby. I'll switch over to my just chatting so you can see her in the big screen. Look at her. Look at this little face. So sleepy. She's so sleepy. Oh, shoulder cat. Okay. Well, shoulder cat time, I suppose. Okay, so I guess I don't know how long I'm going to keep her. Yes, she does that all the time, and that's how I know that she loves me so much. Sometimes I call her Squint when she does it. And I try to do it back, but I feel like I blink too fast. She yells at me a lot. I know that cats meow at humans because it's like a way to communicate with kittens. And they think that we're just big dumb kittens. And so it's kind of like them yelling. And so I meow back. So we just kind of get into scream matches. It's funny. Oh my god, is this the last episode? Oh my god. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. The Hound of the Baskervilles. Oh, she laid her head down on my shoulder. Oh, I wish you could see. Can you guys see? She's like got her head like resting on my shoulder. Look at this sleepy little baby. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop freaking out about my cat now. Okay, we're gonna start it. The Hound of the Baskervilles.
What is it? Where are you going?
It's coming!
Oh,
James's
ow,
cry
ow.
pierced through the thick wall of fog around us.
Butt pats.
Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited, breathlessly, in the stillness.
Okay, I'm gonna put you down.
Silence
Ready?
lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames.
A church grim.
Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. Look well, Wilson, Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. For this is the diabolical Hound of the Baskervilles.
Oh. Okay. They found your dog? What the dog doing? Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. In that disconcerted courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived, the posters you put up they weren't in the right font. They weren't in Baskerville. You gotta type it in Baskerville, otherwise they're not gonna know. Did you do Comic Sans? That's also a good one. In that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived in the country, and in Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. Wingding supremacy. There then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court, which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. A fateful telegram? Present my research in wingdings. Oh my god. I feel like something about that feels illegal to me. I'm gonna be real with you. Uh-oh. I have my sparkling water now. Oh look, they really kind of, they have a little Danima. How cute. That morning, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. It's a contract violation? Yeah. That sounds right to me. But after he gone, I have cat hair on my mouth now. Blech. Susada-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Oh, sorry. Susada-san.
Yes. It's time to leave for court already. Let me see. What case is it today?
I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I?
Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me.
But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So shall we go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite? You gonna dip because you don't want spoilers? Oh, okay. Yeah, don't get them spoilers. And thank you for the luck. I'm gonna need it.
Yes. Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food.
She does, doesn't she?
And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today?
Here we go again. You good? The telegram. So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean.
Oh, a telegram?
Excuse me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, but you're not gonna get away with that.
Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. It was just a boring old telegram.
That's 3 times now that she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing.
I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point.
Alright, I understand. I suppose Soseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he?
Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he would have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away.
A fortnight ago, we had that very long telegram from him, do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well.
Is something wrong, Naruto-san?
I was just wondering what might have become of Soseki-san had he stayed in London, that's all.
You mean, as regards Lord Van Zieks, the Reaper?
Yes, I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. The Reaper. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? Like the way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. That was pretty wild.
Even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery.
Yes, but at least Soseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably, that means.
That the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps?
Even if that's the case, it's little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding.
If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself.
Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants.
No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord Van Zieks hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter.
Oh?
Yes, since Soseki-san's trial, he's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems.
Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So it's just been me who's had to face him in his recent spate of trials then. Ugh, just my luck.
I wonder if luck doesn't come into it.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
What does she know? I guess we'll go to the Sholm Suite, where breakfast awaits us. Hey, that's today! This is today, April 15th.
Morning, Rudo. Morning, Susie.
What is this? Sorry, y'all. I had to turn my. I'm gonna turn my mic down just a smidge. I had to turn my air on because it was getting a little warm in here, so you can kind of hear that. Here, I'll turn the music up. What the fuck is this? It's terrible.
Good morning, Iris.
Iris?
What is it, Runo?
What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled.
Oh, yes, you noticed that, didn't you? Hurley isn't in the best form this morning, it seems.
Oh dear.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes?
Good morning. A good morning to die, perhaps. Damn. This is hilarious. Has something happened, Mr. Schultz? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. Damn this blanched existence! That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
I'm afraid I don't understand either. Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble.
Kitty!
It's Wagahai! Ah! There's a cat! There's a cat! Look at the cat! Look how cute! Oh my god! Good morning, boy! Look at the kitty! That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. But how did it get there? He's wearing a little bow tie!
Well then, everyone, time for breakfast.
I want to pet the kitty!
Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris.
It would indeed be a fine day to die. I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk. Sir? Wanting to Yes, let's discuss wanting to die. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened? It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its melisonant tones would make flowers bloom. It would? But now the muses are unamused with me. The goddess of music has thrown me over.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Schultz?
For hours I've bowed, for days even, through the night I've endeavored to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone, gone, forever. No more recitals of unbridled emotion.
Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley?
Don't worry, I'm sure it'll come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Nolan. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. If that ain't the fucking truth. One day they bestow genius on a man, the next they unmercifully withdraw it. Oh dear. Ugh, why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for the violin from me, what is left for pity's sake? What is left? What a drama queen. I love it. So extra. Deduction perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for?
Mr. Schultz, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today.
Oh, well done, Mr. Sato. Your observational skills do you credit. insignificance when compared to yours. Look at her, she's such a simp. You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you?
You mean Hurley's great analytoscope? But that's at Winterbanks now.
Sorry, it's at a windy bank?
No, Winterbanks, the pawnbrokery.
Pawn? What? You mean you pawned that enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see, quite undeservingly.
Isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you.
Dear madam, things are far from desperate.
But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate?
Making use of a pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is? It doesn't sound ordinary at all. Look at this emo boy. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh, what's to understand exactly? How pawnbroking works, I suppose. What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks.
Thanks.
Oh, Minta's back.
Hello. Where you going? You don't have a shelf to climb on anymore. We moved it already.
That's okay, she's just gonna scratch her face on my lamp like she usually does.
I know, it's gone, isn't it?
She's just gonna shake her tail at my face too. On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week.
And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, don't you?
Oh my gosh.
You see? Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London.
And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn, should the need arise.
Oh, how ingenious. So whenever we have something that's getting in the way,
I need to stop doing Cockney accents, but
we leave it in Winterbanks, you see.
a pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault. Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain?
Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley?
He's so sad. What does it matter? The world is dead to me now. Good God. Can I examine stuff? I'll talk to Iris. Can I talk to Iris? My button's not working. That's weird. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then.
And you're gonna settle into your new home, Midna. You're gonna settle in just fine.
Oh yes, and I've become very attached to little Waggy.
I can see why. He's freaking cute. It would appear his previous owner has completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures, their muse as empty as the hearts of their muses. Bro, don't you be shit talking. Did you hear that, Midna? Did you hear it? Unfeeling creature, my ass. Look at this cutie pie. Look at her. Unfeeling creatures. How dare you, sir? How dare you? I wish you would. One day, I really hope she meows into the microphone so you guys can hear how she meows. Because it's so freaking cute. And it really sounds like she says stuff sometimes. Like she really has some oomph behind it. So snuggly. Such a snuggly little girl. Alright, I'm gonna no, I'm gonna put you back down on the desk. There you go. I know you wanted to shoulder cap, but we're gonna sit on the desk. There you go. You can settle right there. How dare you, sir? Oh!
If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place.
I expect he would have taken him if he could. But pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience.
And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed.
Yeah, terrible things can happen.
Well, I don't mind because Waggy is adorable.
Oh my god, I'm dying. Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from?
Oh, you noticed? You are observant, Bruno. Look, I use this. It's my latest invention.
What is that?
I call it the cat flapper mat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right. Actually, it can make a cat flap for a funny...
Oh my gosh.
It can make a cat flap for a little funny friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can do it to any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see. Wouldn't it have been quick?
Oh, sorry. Wouldn't it have been quicker to just make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap?
Well, yes, maybe, but now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris.
She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl.
Oh no! Oh, what was that?
Laga high? Uh-oh. Cat's gonna cat. What was that?
Oh no! Mother has tangled up in your violin. I think he thinks it's a toy.
No, what's he doing to it?
Oh dear, Mr. Shul's precious violin.
Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. The cat is a more accomplished musician than I. I don't think that's what they were worried about, Sholmes.
Mr. Shul's really is in poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives, shall I, Hurley?
Out of the cat's reach if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. I guess can we assess the damage? Oh, the strings. I think I see the string coming out. So this is the violin, is it? It's Stradivarius. One of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you. And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every Paganini-inspired performance I've made. I ask you, is there reason to live in a world devoid of music? To tolerate this blanched experience? No. There is none. So dramatic. So dramatic.
Mr. Shulms?
What, dear madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine.
Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think?
What do you mean, Miss Sato?
Oh, Susie's right. Yes, the tone of the wood is completely different.
here before. Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this?
I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Shums, but that instrument isn't a violin at all.
Then what?
I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola.
Oh, he fell. Okay.
Oh, Mr. Shums, are you alright?
You're right. You are quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what, pray, is this piece of stringed flotsam? Not your faithful performing partner, then.
Ah, I see what must have happened.
You do, Iris?
This is just a simple mix-up.
It sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. Okay. I love her little outfit. Oh my god. Okay, Iris. What happened? What do you mean by a mix-up, Iris?
Well, you see, this violin, sorry, this viola, I mean, was at Winterbanks until last week. At the pawnbroker's.
Not Mr. Sholm's beloved musical partner. Oh, I see he's back to normal. That is a proverb from the East, with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel.
Yes, indeed.
So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth?
Oh, what a wonderful idea.
No, not a good idea. Last week I pawned my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Winterbank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber. Would it be timbre? Is that how you pronounce that? Not timber. How do you pronounce it? I think it's timbre. I think that's the joke. Whatever. Anyway. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. Pshaw! A fine state of affairs this is, and why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo. Never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time.
But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault.
Come, Mr. Naruhodo, dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect, frissing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced?
We must visit Mr. Winterbank's program at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Schultz?
Precisely, Miss Susato, without a moment's delay. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs. My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to press your egg over ever more obtusely. All right, say no more, let's go then.
Don't worry, Rudo. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later.
Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's looks like. Well, we will save that for next time, because I am getting pretty tired. And I'm actually going to spend most of my day tomorrow packing and doing even more moving, so I need my rest. So I'm just going to pop a little save right here, and we will visit the pawnbrokers next time. I'm sorry to cut it kind of short, but it is what it is. But thank you guys so much for joining me, and we finished one case and started another, and it's going to be the Hound of Baskerville, I guess, somehow. And I'm glad Sholmes is now back in good spirits, like we love him. That was a very interesting experience. Keep your eye on my Twitter, especially if you haven't already followed me, but I think most of you already followed me. But if you haven't, go and follow my Twitter, because I'm going to be posting lots of updates with my schedule, because it's going to be wonky with the transition. Hopefully the transition will go quick, and I won't have to worry about missing too many streams, and hopefully, ideally, I will miss none. But yeah, just keep your eyes open, and hope you guys have a good weekend, and hopefully I'll see y'all next week. Night, y'all.